Okay, so you're starting a new law firm or you're going into business with someone, and the number one thing that everyone tells you have to do is get a website. The question is, how should you go about doing it? Should you do it yourself? Should you hire someone else? That's what we're going to talk about today. My name is Chris Hargraves. I'm from digitalmarketingforlawyers.com, and this is the Digital Marketing Mastery series. We are talking about websites and what you should be doing with yours. Is it okay for lawyers to have a DIY website? Could you even tell? There are a number of different things we need to balance out here. The first is that I think lawyers have a tendency to dramatically overspend on their websites. I think we convince ourselves, or we're sold a story from someone, that in order to have a good website, it needs to be A, custom built, and B, really expensive. Neither of those things is true, in my opinion. While it is certainly the case that a custom-built website might offer a certain amount of functionality, the fact is that the vast majority of law firm websites that have been stitched together by the practitioners are indistinguishable from those custom content management systems. So if you are a newer law firm or you are just going into practice looking to get a website, and I agree that you should have a website of some kind, can you do it yourself? The answer is yes, you can. The question is, how much do you want to get into that side of things? And really that depends what your future intentions are. Because it would not be difficult to pay someone a fairly conservative amount of money, a couple of $1,000s say, to get together a semi-customized WordPress-based website with a theme that reflects what you want to reflect, looks nice, complies with modern design principles, and all of the sorts of things you're hoping it's going to do. The question is, if you get someone else to do that, will you know how to use it? Because one of the great benefits in building your own website is, of course, that you learn how the process goes in order to build the website and put it together. You learn how to use the tools you have available. And if you've listened to me at all over the years, you will know that I think it's very important we understand what the tools we have available to us are and have an appreciation for what they can do and what they cannot do. Even if we ultimately delegate a lot of that sort of thing to other people, it's important to understand that component of our business and its opportunities and its limitations. So putting together your own website certainly can help, but if you have never done it before and you're learning as you go, you're going to find two things. Firstly, it's going to take much longer than you hope as you learn how to do it. And secondly, it's going to potentially not be quite as easily refined in the way you like. You might end up with a few things you need to let go that you cannot figure out how to tweak or make entirely perfect according to your own desires. So what is the nice middle ground? I think the nice middle ground, frankly, unless you have experience in putting together WordPress sites and can do it fairly efficiently, probably the best bet is to work with someone, not at the colossal end of the price range, but not at the very bottom end of the price range either, because you do have a tendency to get what you pay for. Get them to put together your site, but ensure with absolute certainty when you give them their brief that all aspects of the site must be capable of being edited by someone later. I've seen so many websites built by designers in such a way that no normal person could ever possibly come back to it later to edit it. And that is an extremely frustrating process. If your website wording is hard-coded into the templates that WordPress uses rather than being readily accessible through the theme settings or something like that, and if you've never built a WordPress site, none of that made any sense. But the point is, burying the customizations in a place where they can never possibly be located again by anyone without coding or developer experience is poor form on the part of a developer. You should not have to go back to your developer for every single change that you want to make to your site. you should be able to do it with a relatively small amount of WordPress experience. Why do I keep saying WordPress? Because it is the best content management system around. It offers the most flexibility and power while still offering a degree of simplicity. Certainly there are other options that a lot of people use like Wix and Squarespace. Eventually people have a tendency to hit the limitations of those platforms. WordPress has a tendency to be a little bit steeper learning curve than those other two, but it offers a greater degree of flexibility and functionality as you go along. So, should lawyers DIY their websites? Yes, with an if, or if not, at least to an extent working closely with a developer, I think is a good way to go. So that's the time-efficient way of doing it. I love building websites. It's just fun for me, but I don't necessarily recommend it to everyone else. That is all I had for today. If you had any questions on other topics, do all the usual things, hit the buttons, leave comments, say nice things, and I will see you in the next episode.